The other thing is that we've heard about that issue. Of course, we are aware of that, and we've got ways in order to fix that. And it's gonna be fixed on launch,
Okay.
but not before the end of the beta.
All right.
What's gonna happen on launch is that you're gonna have you may end up in the same situation where you're not enough to be like you're enough, in fact, to start a match, but not enough to be like a full team.
Yeah.
And what's gonna happen is that you may play the first round, but you're gonna play split
Yeah.
in two teams. But after that, it's gonna be fixed, and you're gonna be automatically playing with your friends on the next round. So it may happen that you're gonna spend the first round like playing, against each other, and then just after you're gonna be able to play against other team. Otherwise, it would have increased the way matchmaking was working, and it would have caused a delay.
Yeah.
Because every single time you're playing with a friend, it would mean that we had a new condition for the matchmaking, which is waiting before you reach a certain number of people to be able to play it all together.
Sure.
And yeah, it would have slowed down considerably matchmaking. So it's something we're looking into. It's going to be fixed in the game when it's going to be gold, but there may still be issue, and we are like right now we are regarding, and it's one of the things we're working on. So.
All right. Cool. Okay. Are there any other questions from the community side of the table, Mr. Shenmue? Well, you had something to.
I was going to ask about the courtesan thing, but we already touched on that.
Sorry.
Angie was like specific. I need to ask about that. So
Yes, I stole
It's all
his
good. She's
thunder.
the one that discovered it.
There was-
You're back for killing me all the time.
there was something that Shenmue had brought to my attention a while back, and I completely forgotten. And it was the fact that the sound effect. Now, I'm sure you guys know, but there was the sound effect when your target, or I think it was your pursuer as well in Brotherhood. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but definitely when like your target used disguise within like your proximity, you could hear that sound effect. I haven't noticed this in the beta. Is that something you've intentionally dropped now? Because you seem to be giving hints on the one side and then taking away, those sound cues from the other. So, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like,
the sound
all of a sudden I get stunned out of nowhere. I'm like, I didn't hear you use disguise.
disguise, yeah, that was something I know a lot of high level players used to rely on. You could tell somebody has used disguise nearby, and a lot of the time it's probably a target who heard whispers and reacted to that. So, is that something you intentionally dropped? And I guess the other question I was going to ask is obviously the different evolutions of disguise, the ones that you unlocked with the challenges gave you hidden bonus as well. I don't know if you received any complaints about that. I know some people complained on the forums about it, but it was kind of for the most part, the forum community anyway seemed to not really mind it that much. Is that something that's going to return? Is that something that you can touch upon right now, or are you keeping that a secret for the final release?
Well, regarding abilities and everything we're gonna tweak, I would say that it's still open and everything is still on the table. So depending on the feedback we've got, the metrics we gather, we're gonna tweak the game, but we still have an open mind about all those feedbacks, and even when the game is gonna be released, we're still gonna be able to tweak some of those elements, change and fix some abilities if they needed to. So for now on, as you said, you've added some stuff, you've removed some other stuff. Well, that's basically what we call tweaking. It's like trying to find the right formula. So it's still something we're doing right now, because in the beta process we are still, at the same time we are really close and really far from goal, depending on what kind of stuff we are talking about. I would say that regarding the element and the game content, we've got everything we need. We've got all the character we need for the game. We've got all the modes and all maps. But right now, what we are really doing is tweaking everything. It's like getting sure that everything is working fine and everything is super polished.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, Gabe, the sort of Assassin's Network. I know you were a big advocate of that. Obviously, that's going to be returning in the form of, I guess, the what was it called now?
I think they're guilds.
The guilds. That's it.
Right?
So we're going to see an expansion of that, with Revelations and stuff. I mean, I hate to always mention Call of Duty, but kind of like how you've got Call of Duty Elite and that sort of thing. Are we going to be
No,
seeing...
by all means,
Yeah.
compare us to Call of Duty. That's awesome.
I don't think he's gonna mind being compared to like the biggest multiplayer game in the world of all time ever.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
That is exactly it.
But
yeah. So I think you're talking about the new game to web system that they have, right?
yeah.
Is it Call of Duty Elite? I think is what it's
Call
called.
of Duty.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see, like, I know the network kind of got off to a great start and then kind of, faltered a little bit and stuff, mainly because it was tied to player matches and not necessarily ranked matches, which more of the community like to play. Well, it's perception, I guess. We think more of the community like to play it. The numbers probably say otherwise, but we're going to see what can we look forward to with regards to that? Is that something you're still keeping on the wraps as well in terms of the functionality and what we can do?
Well, I think the basis of it is that, like, especially when you make reference to Call of Duty Elite, Brotherhood was definitely like our first time with multiplayer in Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
And I think we did an excellent job. Like, I'm sure, like, for a freshman effort, I think it was amazing.
Yeah.
And as much as I would like to say, like, oh yeah, for Revelations we're gonna have like this tiered system where you earn like elite rankings and then you earn like in-game items and stuff like that. Like, I can't say that.
Yeah.
But certainly, like, we're gonna continue to support Assassin's Network, and part of that is applying the learnings that we got from Brotherhood, which were many, surprisingly. So yeah, what we're looking at is, there were a lot of things. Like, I feel like we could have made clan support a little bit more user friendly, so that people had an easier time of creating and keeping in touch with their clans and scheduling time to play with their clans and things like that. And those are the sorts of things that we're looking at. But we're also looking at other things that kind of facilitate community management.
Yeah.
From my end of things, like if we want to do like a competition or something, we want to have a way of measuring each player so they can opt into a contest and things like that. Now, are all of these things going to be immediately ready at launch? Not necessarily, because if there's one thing that we learned from Brotherhood and the first trials with Assassin's Network is that we need to make sure that when we approach these a new feature rollout, that we do it with lots of planning, lots of testing, and that we take our time with it to make sure that we have like a solid offering when we come out with things. So that's certainly something that we're looking at. I mean, we've discussed it like quite a bit over well, I mean, it's a discussion that has honestly never really stopped.
Yeah.
From Brotherhood onto Revelations, it's something that we're constantly talking about and trying to make sure that we have. I mean, what it comes down to is just like the best end user experience, really. And that's where things like this beta come in. And you guys probably can't see it on your side, but there are certainly like metrics that were like ways of measuring what players are doing and how we can build in tags and stuff to track those things online, and what we want to show on the internet through a web page like Assassin Network, and how we want to allow players to compare with each other and send messages to each other and things like that. I mean, there were a few things in Assassin Network that I think that were really robust but kind of overlooked, like the chat system.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, so here's something that's a really cool feature, but do we spend like a bunch of hours like working on perfecting that feature for Revelations when not a lot of people used it? Or did a lot of people use it in a specific area? Did they use it in a certain way? Like, there's a lot of things that we have to examine and take into account. So like, I can't really give any specifics, but I can tell you that we are working very hard on Assassin's Network.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear. Right. Bit of a pop quiz here for community guys. I'll start with Shemu.
Uh-oh.
Shemu, so what was your favorite? No, give me your two favorite maps on Brotherhood. Just straight off the top.
My two favorite, Sienna and Gandolfo.
Okay, Rainie, your two favorite maps.
Definitely Sienna.
Yeah.
And I would say Castel.
Okay.
As well, mostly because I didn't get roofed as much in that map.
All right. Angie, what were your two favorite maps?
Oh, Sienna and Venice. I love Venice.
Right.
But I think Sienna's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Well, Sienna was definitely one of my favorite maps as well. But what I was trying to get there was sort of like the pattern that the other guys could
I
hear
see what you did there.
what I did there. So and this is something that my good friend Luma had brought up. And he said that the maps that we've got on the beta now at the moment, while they're pretty to look at, there's not much in the way of, I feel sorry for saying this, but there's not much in the way of variety in that they're all huge. They're all particularly roofy. Whereas most people's favorite maps, at least just judging by the small poll that we've done here now, were sort of like the not so vertically challenged, yeah. So can we expect, with regards to the level design that the guys have undertaken for Revelations, are we hopefully not going to see all the same type of Galata?
No, you're gonna see only the same kind of map.
No, come on.
Yeah, that's what we call designing for the future. So it's something I came up with when I was really drunk. And no, of course, of course, you're gonna see different maps. We haven't talked about the whole map that we're gonna have in the game, and what we wanted to do is display the new map and show some kind of new stuff. One of the funny thing is it's kind of cool that you're saying that the map are much bigger because they are exactly the same size of every single map.
Really?
Like all of them has got
Yep.
the exact same size at the pixel.
No.
And I
way.
mean, I can guarantee that.
Same
Wow.
square footage.
Wow,
So
they feel so huge.
So that's exactly it. It feels. It's just a matter of perception. It's not the way they are designed. And fact is, yeah, you're gonna see other maps that are gonna suit. Like that's what we did in Brotherhood. If you take attention, there's a lot of difference between like Siena and Rome and Castel Gandolfo, and all those maps have their own kind of twist. You can put them in different categories, like map with not a lot of roof, map that are more action oriented. Some of them are more for stealthy player. Well, we showed a couple of different maps that we've got here. I think that Night Hospital, for example, is a good example of balancing different kind of gameplay at the same time. So yeah, you have the roof, but at the same time you've got a huge place that is kind of open where you can get a lot of kill. And according also to the fact that we've got new modes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the challenge with Assassin's Creed is that it's not like playing deathmatch or stuff like that. You have to think your map ahead, and it should suit like your different mode. And you're gonna see that for someone like Infection, those new maps are really, really, really cool.
Okay.
But yeah, you can be reassured. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm guessing Infection is corruption, but I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, corruption. Yeah. But usually it's exactly it. Internally, we've got names that change through the course of the development, and even ourselves, I've got trouble with, for example, Castel Gandolfo, which we use also to call Palazzo or Palazzo Ducale, or there was like a lot of different names for the map, and sometimes you spend like months using the same name, and when it comes down to the release date, you're like completely fucked up. And it's the same with characters. I'm not daring to use their name because usually I completely like forget that they change their name for the release or because of some obscure reason. So
okay, it's just, I mean, that's good in that there's going to be variety. It's just that like you had the situation, and Shenmue, Rainie, and Angie will agree here in that the DLC maps got progressively more annoying. I know I can safely say I hated Alhambra with a fiery passion. As not
yeah. Was it the tiers? Was it the levels that did it for you?
Yes. It's like the only map where I'm constantly on the roof because I don't want to get jumped on.
Well, it's like everywhere in Alhambra is the roof of something in that map. It's crazy.
Roofed on a roof in Alhambra.
No, for real. It's like, how can it be on a roof and still get killed by a roofer? I mean,
exactly.
But I mean, the multi-tiered maps sort of get on my nerves a little bit. But I remember me and Gabe, when we first started playing through, I believe it was the Galata map when it first came out, we had a lot of fun with that just because it was very multi-tiered, but it was still, I never really had that much trouble with roofers when I was playing through Revelations. I don't know, maybe it's because I've gotten better with throwing knives, perhaps. But it's a trade-off. If you want to play against roofers in a certain kind of map, I think they put themselves out there. But the maps we played with so far, I don't think it's really caused really that much of a difficult time.
It's because I'm a roofer.
Yeah, yo,
Yeah, you are a whisper.
Batman.
All right,
hey,
so we know where to find Gabe.
That's it. Just look up. All right.
see the doctor on the roof. Yeah, that's Gabe.
You're in a game with Gabe. Just remember to look up, and you'll be fine.
Oh,
Gotta look up. Man, and I swear, an easy deathmatch. Oh, they should have called it Easy Pickings. I think it was on Knight's Hospital, and there's one of them where it's just like